Hi everyone, we're here today and we're doing another beer review. How is everyone today? I hope everyone's doing fine. This is going to be a bit of a different beer review than previously. We've been working through some of the kind of local beers, as you can see up on the shelf there, that are kind of brewed locally in the kind of southwest area. But we're also going to be starting a different kind of review section, which is this is a kind of the cheaper stuff. What we're going to try to do is, well, we've got the session beers like the Carlings, the Fosters, all these ones that are always seems to be permanent on sale for cases and multiple packs. And we're trying to look at some of the kind of unknown brands, whether they're actually brands that are like this one that's been created by Tesco's, or whether it's an unknown brand coming from the likes of Lidl's, Aldi, and the other kind of major supermarkets. So we're looking, can you even get cheaper for the same type of kind of quality, the same kind of drink? And we're looking at Ashfield today. Now, Ashfield has got a bit of a strange system. Tesco's used to have their own kind of premium lagers and premium beers, their own kind of label. And what they've started to do is move away from that and start to kind of make up their own kind of brand names that aren't directly associated with Tesco's or whatever supermarket. So what they've done is they've created a lot of different kind of brands for different types of food, and Ashfield, they've managed to create this brand for lager, and they also do a bitter. Now it's very, I would say it's quite cheap. I think it's about £2.50, £2 between £2.25 and £2.50 for a 4-pack of this, and they are 440ml cans, so they are. Now, what we're going to be looking at today is how they rate. Are they acceptable? Are they drinkable? And what we're going to do is look at it and give them a score. And over a period of weeks, once we've basically reviewed all the beers and we've given them a score, what we're going to do is kind of directly compare the top kind of 5 with the top kind of session beers that are always on sale, like Foster's and 1664 and all these session beers that are permanently on sale, that are basically brewed in the UK, regardless of where they're actually supposed to be, whether it's Belgium or France or whatever, but they're all brewed under license in the UK. So these mass-produced session beers. So that's what we're trying to do as a comparison, to see if, is there a cheaper option out there? Is there even maybe a better option out there? Now, Ashfield, which is done by Tesco's, this is actually brewed by C&C Group in Glasgow. So it is. And I've got some notes here. Now, it's a Well Park brewery. This is where this is brewed in Glasgow. It's a famous Well Park brewery because it's a famous tennis brewery. So yes, that's where it's always basically kind of been brewed. And anybody in Scotland who you'd know of Tennent's, which is a very kind of Scottish beer, and this is brewed by the same. I don't know whether it tastes, I've never tasted this, I don't know whether it tastes like Tennent's. I have tasted Tennent's, and Tennent's has a very distinct irony metallic aftertaste. It's very kind of renowned for it. Now, it's a 3.8, so it's not exactly big on alcohol, but a lot of these type of beers, including Tennent's, in draft or in the cans, are usually around about 4%. So 3.84% is not that far away. 440ml cans, again, that's more of a kind of standard that you would probably get Tennent's in, and McEwen's and all these different types, and Aloha's bitter, and all these different types of Scottish brewed beers usually come in a 440. So yes, what we're looking at today is the Ashfield. It'll be interesting because this is going to be a bit different, because this is going to be brewed with Scottish water. Now, in the UK, there's quite a difference between north and south with water quality. And down south, the further you get close to the White Cliffs of Dover, you get a very high calcium content. And, well, I suppose in some ways mineral content, but it's a very, very hard water, very, very hard. And you get a lot of calcium buildup on things that have left to dry. Also, you have to kind of treat things like toilets and wash machines and everything else just because of the high calcium content. In Scotland, we don't really have that. In Scotland, as I was growing up, it's a very soft water. So you just don't get a lot of these issues and a lot of these problems that you get down south. Like you've got to buy other products to kind of look after and maintain your washing machines and dishwashers and things like that. We just don't have that. It just doesn't exist. So that does tend to make it a very different kind of brew because of that. And of course, the water doesn't have to be treated so much either, and doesn't have to go through the heavy kind of filtration that you would probably do with beers brewed down in the south of England, where the water is different, unless they're getting it from a natural source, which they might do. But of course, not all brewers and not all, especially large-scale brewers, have access to unlimited natural resources of water. So it'll be quite interesting, and I'm quite interested to see whether it actually tastes like Tennent's or not, because it's come from there. It's going to be brewed very similar. The alcohol content is very similar as a lager, so it'll be quite interesting from that point of view. There is no real description on the label. There's no bottle description or can description apart from brewed with finest British malted barley for a crisp flavour, and that's it. That's your lot. And the rest of it is just kind of the general kind of details of where it's brewed and blah 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 blah. So Untapped is giving it a rating of 2.54 out of 5, of course, but only 76 check-ins. So not many people have actually reviewed this compared to a lot of other ones that are usually in the thousands or multiple thousands or tens of thousands. This is 76, so there we go. No real tasting notes, no smell, no taste, no nothing like that. So at the end of the day, this is going in blind, basically. So there's nothing to look for. We're just going to have to see what we find. So let's see what it's like. And oh, I do like that sound. Right. I'm going to bring it up so let you see how it's brewing. It is definitely a golden lager, which would be strange because we will be dealing with a lager later on in our local reviews. We'll be looking at a Pils lager, which is a German light lager, full-bodied light in colour and pale. But today we're looking at Golden Times. Hey, it does have a smell of Tennent's about it. Not as strong a smell of Tennent's lager, but it does have it. It has that metallic-y smell. The thing was, when I was growing up as a kid, my dad occasionally would crack open a can of Tennent's lager to drink while watching the football. This is long before Sky and digital television, so it was just terrestrial television is what we used to call it. So the football wasn't always regularly on, so it was a kind of special occasion to see a live match on television. And he would used to crack open just one can, no more, just one can for the whole match. Tight fisted. Anyway, but what he used to do was always leave either a little bit in the bottom of the can for me to drink, or pour a little bit into a glass as I got older. You maybe get a little bit more than a spitful. And yes, it just always used to kind of remind me of my childhood. Was just that kind of irony, metallic-y taste. A bit like basically what we call that kind of irony taste you get off of blood. You know, if you cut yourself and you get that kind of irony, kind of metallic flavour. You do get a bit of that with Tennent's lager. And I've never come across any lager. I've drunk lager from all over the world and in lots of different places, and I've never had that taste. But this could be different. So, smell-wise, that's what you're getting. You're not getting any hoppy or anything else. You're just getting that metallic-y Tennent's lager smell. So, let's give it a go. It smells like Tennent's, but it doesn't taste like Tennent's. It doesn't have the aftertaste at all that Tennent's would have. It doesn't have anything metallic. In fact, when you first taste it in the kind of tip of your tongue at the front of your mouth, you're getting kind of earthy flavours, kind of soily, earthy flavours. Roof of the mouth, mid-tongue, you're getting kind of sweetness. Not strong sweetness, but you are getting sweeter tones, yes. And then it gets to the back of the throat and just melts away, completely melts away, doesn't leave any aftertaste or whatever at all. No. It definitely would be a session beer, definitely, because it's very, very light and easy to drink. Probably a bit more gassy than probably what it needs to be, but definitely lighter in flavour. It's still a bit of life to it, and still, but it has gone down quite a bit from the head initially. It wasn't the best head to start with, but it has kind of rapidly kind of disappeared, as you can see. But yes, it's not unpleasant. There's nothing bad or harsh about it at all. It's very neutral in a lot of ways. A little bit earthy to let you know it's kind of a lager to start with. You kind of sweeter tones midway through the mouth, and then it just melts away with real no aftertaste at all from that point on. It just down the back of the throat, and that's it. It leaves you with nothing of any kind of real flavour in the mouth. So for a session, yes, it ticks the box of being a session one. Is it a bad one? No. No. Is it a great one? No. But I would say it's not unpleasant, but it's not brilliant either, because there's no real character to it. It's very characterless in a lot of ways, but it is a nice beer. It is a nice beer. It's easy enough to drink. It gets a 2.54, and I've got to be saying that's pretty close. I would probably say yes, it's an average, standard, run-of-the-mill 2.5. I would give that a 2.5, and I would say yeah, it's a nice beer. It's a beer that you could take around to a party. People could drink. It's not offensive. It's not going to cause any problems. There's no harsh flavors that's going to basically put some people off and be attractive to others. It's just very neutral, a very kind of what we call vanilla. Just nothing horrible about it in any way, shape, or form. Nothing brilliant, but I would say yes, it's a good standard average lager. Nothing more, nothing less. So yes, a 2.5. I would definitely recommend it at that type of price, because you can't really go wrong. If you were going to a barbecue or a party, or you're getting some friends round to watch some football, yes, you could go for the usual stuff, but I'd maybe get some of them as well, because they really are completely unoffensive. So for the money, I think, yeah, you'd be daft not to try it. So I would recommend give it a go. How it stacks up against the major session ones will be a different story, and we'll be doing that later on in this series. But this is a good start. I was kind of quite worried and apprehensive about doing this, because I'm going to taste some rubbish here. That's what I was thinking. Oh God! But no, I've started off well, and of course, just to let you know, I'm not buying these. Any beers that I get reviewed that haven't been recommended, these are actually bought by a neutral person. This person goes and buys them. I'm not going to say who it is, but they go and buy them, and they go either with a remit. So they will either go and buy on the basis of, do they like the label, and does it meet the criteria, that type of thing. If it meets the criteria, fine. If there's multiple different ones, then of course they'll pick ones that they like the look of or the design of the label. So it's that kind of completely neutral from that point of view. So I'm not picking all my kind of favorite beers and just reviewing them. So this has been picked. I didn't even know this existed until yesterday when I was basically given it. With part of doing the research, I've now realised there's also a bitter, which of course we will be trying that as well. But yes, never heard of Ashfield before. Quite interesting to find out it was actually being made by the Tennent's Brewery and the C&C Group for Tesco's. And yes, compared to some of the other stuff I've had out of Tesco's under their own brand previously, like their Tesco's Premium Lager, I think they used to do, that was quite bad. I'm not saying it was really bad, but it was quite bad. It would take you at least a can and a half to get past the issues and the problems that you no longer really taste them so much. But at the start, the first can was always a struggle. But this, no, not at all. Again, just to let you see, it's gone fairly dead. I'll see if we can liven it up. Yeah, there's still a bit of life in there, but it's not a lively beer in any way, shape, or form, as you can see. But as you can see, it's not going to really get a chance. Nice cold one, you're going to sink it very quick. I would probably say it's 10 minutes max, probably, and then you're on to the next one. And most of the time, people won't even waste time pouring it into a glass. They'll just neck it from the can and just, you can just imagine that. One other beer bomb, there you go, neck it. And it's all to do with the company and the conversation and maybe the food if you're having any. And not so much about the beer. The beer is just to keep wetting the conversation. It's like a seasoning to a good evening. But yes, I would recommend that. Yes, it's definitely up there with a 2.5. So give it a go, and we'll see you the next time. Cheers for now. Bye.